Good morning, Kuwait. Good morning, dear viewers. Good morning, our followers. Wherever you are, this is still Good Morning Kuwait, a live coverage or live program from KTV2. And good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Farid, and good morning to you, dear viewers, and happy morning to you all. Today we have a several report and special guests that we are so happy and pleased to have them with us this morning. So please keep watching us till the end of the program and never go away. So Farid, I know you are a football player and you love football.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday, the Premier League, and an occasion, it's really rare, Liverpool defeated and they smashed Manchester United 7-0.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and Mohammed Salah, the Egyptian king, as they say, he's in sports, he made 2 assists and 2 goals. And definitely that was a huge, shocking result for Man United fans. So that's definitely, that was the main event last night, and it's, in the Premier League. But definitely Liverpool is also a very legendary club, and people, they were defeated by Real Madrid 5-2 last week, but 2 weeks ago. But it's like, a wake-up call, for all the Premier League teams.
Well, we have to say congratulations to all Liverpool actually fans.
Absolutely, absolutely, definitely. But, this is the Premier League, a lot of... you win today and tomorrow you lose, and it's like that.
Exactly.
It depends. Yeah, you have to have like a mental and physical status to be really on top for 9 months, and that's very hard for a squad of consists of 30 players. That's not
so
easy.
Farid, I know you love football and love watching football matches. So while you are watching that, do you feel like some anxiety while you're watching, or excitement?
Excitement, definitely. Whenever you see these, some moves, they are amazing. And definitely you see people like Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, or the Brazilian Ronaldo, the phenomena, or Ronaldinho, or a lot of players we have. Definitely these touches, these moves, you try to imagine them, try to implement them in the field. But definitely we passed the age of doing that. We're talking about people in the 20s and early 20s, they can do these kind of moves. But definitely it's enjoyment when you watch something you really love, and especially by stars like Mohammed Salah, the Egyptian, and it's a role model for all the Arab players. Riyad Mahrez also in Manchester City, he's from Algeria. And definitely we are really proud of these models. They are Arabs and Muslims, residing in Europe, and yet they are one of the, from the best players, the elite players.
Yes. You have too many information, Farid, about the players and matches. Not as me, because I don't love football that much as you did.
But you good. You like sports. You work out.
Yes, for sure. Yes, I still work out.
You're still working out.
Yeah, I'm still working out because I have to work out every day. It's really important to do, especially nowadays. Weather is getting really lovely. Not too much cold, not too much hot.
So you do a lot of weight lifting?
Not too much weight, but I have to do some
repetitive exercises and sets. Yeah, I know.
Sometimes,
you see, dear viewers, you have your host, our sportsman, and that kind of atmosphere, we try to promote for sport, because it's good for our health.
Exactly, Farid. So, viewers, today we're gonna have too many information for you. Don't go away. Let's have this silent break, and then we'll move on.
Definitely, the next segment will be the weather forecast, and our meteorologist Fad Al-Atabi, and the weather is beautiful nowadays, and I hope it stays like that. Let's watch it.
Good morning, dear viewers. Warm to rather hot weather by day with light to moderate southeasterly wind, freshening at times with a speed of 15 to 45 km per hour. There is a chance for airborne dust over some areas, low visibility expected tonight over some areas, but it's going to be a little bit rather cold to fair weather with southeastern wind will continue with us for the next 5 days. State of sea is going to be slight to moderate, rough at times avoid all marine activities for your safety. It's going to be above 6 feet all the time. Expected weather in Kuwait City for the next 5 days. We're going to have chance for rain that might be thundery at times. Southeasterly wind will continue with us until Wednesday, freshening at times with a speed of 15 to 45 kilometers per hour. Warm weather expected those days by day, but still rather cold to fair weather late night and early morning. Maximum temperature will range in general between 28 to 33 degrees. It's going to be a little bit heating for the next 5 days, but still for the minimum temperature, it will range between 18 to 22 degrees over some areas. This is our weather forecasting this morning. Thanks for watching us. And now let's go back to our colleague.
And now, dear viewers, with Kuna News and the first headline. An Amiri decree was issued on Sunday assigning His Highness Sheikh Ahmed Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Sabah as Prime Minister of the State of Kuwait Governorate.
And the Minister of Information and Culture and Minister of State for Youth Affairs, Abdurrahman Al-Mtayri, said Sunday Grain Cultural Festival materialized Kuwait's vision and genuine culture. Over its past 27 editions, the festival reflected Kuwait's strong belief in its cultural message and an effective contribution to communication and coexistence among peoples with different cultures, he said.
Kuwait Special Olympics Committee organized on Sunday a contest of the European bowling game known as Bocce, a local initiative aiming to engage people with special needs through the involvement of some 21st local bodies.
And on the International Jet Ski Championship organized by the Marine Sport Club in Marina Crescent concluded on Saturday its activities with more than 40 participants competing in 7 categories. The competitor, Yusuf Al Abdurazak, won first place in the category senior professional setting, while Rashid Dawas came in the second place and the Emirati Amir Al Hwair came in the third place. That's it for Kona News, dear viewers, and please stay tuned. We'll be back with more segments.
Well, dear viewers, we came back again with you. We have too many segments and reports. And as you mentioned, Farid, the weather is getting really lovely. We get off of the rains, the heavy rains, and maybe we're going to have some dusty weather.
Maybe, yeah, because, you know,
yes.
we are heading towards the April, you know, and March, you know, because at the end of March with beginning of April,
yes,
we have those what's it called?
Weather swings,
weather swings, or sarayat, we say it in
yes.
Kuwaiti. You know, definitely these things, you know, are really, you know, dusty and more windy. But we will definitely move on to an external segment with our colleague, Captain Sarah Jamil, General Department of Public Relations and Media Security. Captain Sarah, good morning. What is the latest traffic conditions in the streets of Kuwait? Because we noticed, Captain Sarah, there is a lot of traffic jam, especially the beginning of the week, yesterday and today. Why? What's going on?
Good morning to you, Farid, and to our colleagues in the studio, and welcome to the Ministry of Interior's segment. Starting off highways or major roads, Farid, yes, exactly. At morning time, as you know, the employees are back from the national celebrations, holidays, and the students also, they are back to their schools. So it was expected, to be honest, this traffic congestion rate at the major roads at morning. And as I told you before, the peak time in Kuwait City started at 7 a.m. and then it's calmed down around 9, and again 1:30 it started until 3 to 3:30. So it was expected a big number of vehicles, Farid, all employees and students back to their schools, public, private school. So as I told you, it was expected. But now the roads or the major roads are calmed down, and we are expecting again the peak time, the second period of the peak time, again at 1:30 to be the roads to be congested. Once again, Farid, following the traffic rules will reduce car accidents, minor car accidents that cause this kind of congestion. That's why you are telling the viewers and the drivers always check your phone, your maps application, try to find less crowded routes and leave earlier at home, from home morning. And when you want to change lanes, use the turn signal before changing the lane, and always leave enough space between your vehicle and the vehicle ahead to avoid these kind of accidents that cause this kind of congestions. Also, very still, we have work maintenance on major roads, and to be honest, vital roads like Fifth Ring Road, also Cairo Road, for example, Third Ring Road. So also the road maintenance on these vital and big roads increase the traffic jam density or rate. Also, Farid, we want to announce that the 36th, the Ministry of Interior launched the 36th Gulf Traffic Week yesterday, and this week aim to increase the awareness of how to use the road safely, how to drive safely, and the week will include many activities, projects, exhibitions, and of course it aims to reduce the violations, the traffic accidents that cause serious injuries and death rate. Again and again, following the traffic rules, it's very important to ensure your safety and also the road users' safety.
Latest and most important security news or any last advice, Sarah, that would be really good for us?
Yes, Farid, maybe we want to highlight more on drug control today, department, because we have many security news, or let's say 3 security news for today, and we will start it with drug control in cooperation with Coast Guard seized a ton of hashish and significant amount of psychoactive substances, and the gang that contains 6 suspects also were arrested and referred to the authorities to take legal action against them. Also, drug control seized 2 individuals were apprehended in possession of a kilo of shabu and 3,000 Captagon pills. Now we will move to the residency affairs investigators' security efforts led to the arrest of 13 violators of the residency law and a person wanted for multiple cases. Our advice for today to follow the rules, Farid, follow the residency law, don't violate the rules. Also for the drivers, follow the traffic rules to reduce the car accidents that really cause serious injuries or maybe lead to death. Our statistics for last year, Farid, 2022, the number of death cases was 322. And for our society or Kuwait society, really it's a big number for us. Every day you find a home, they are opening it to receive the people, to tell them, sorry, our deepest condolences to you because of these accidents. So please be careful while driving, and wish you and the viewers a wonderful and safe day.
Well, thank you so much, Captain Sarah Jamil, General Department of Public Relations and Media Security. So, dear viewers, don't go away. Let's have this little break and then we'll move on. Well, dear viewers, we saw that touching report about drivers and who will had some accidents that really has some injuries and harsh accident because of using some mobiles, talking and texting while driving. And because Farid, this week we have the international, actually United GCC Transportation Week, isn't
Absolutely, absolutely. This is definitely very tangible. It was a report, and frankly saying, I saw the other day on the social media this kind of ad or something like somebody paralyzed and comes and sits with, before he comes and sits with strangers, and they ask him, "Do you text while driving? Do you watch your mobile while driving?" The answers were yes. I text mostly. I see clips. Then they let this paralyzed person go in and sit and say, "I lost my father and I'm paralyzed and I can't, be pregnant and have babies." This is all because one guy was, texting while driving. And look what happened. And believe it or not, they were in tears. That was real, genuine tears. It's not like, makeup movie or something, And definitely that's piece of advice for me, you, for everybody. Please, please, please. What are we watching, during, the traffic jam? We see a lot of people, mingling with their mobiles. Texting, watching. It's not a TV time. It's not a screen time. Please. Just pay attention on the road. And that's the most important, because you don't want to lose your loved ones, or anybody will lose his life, he's a loved one for somebody else.
Indeed, Farid, our life is really valuable, dear viewers. I saw some people actually watching some series while driving. It's really dangerous. Please be careful. There's too many innocent people all around you while you are driving. Maybe some pregnant women, a child, and elderly people. They want to go home safely. So please take your phone away and drive carefully.
Absolutely. And this is what the United GCC Transportation Week is about. So please, there will be harsh tickets. It's not a joke, Yeah, if you don't buckle up with your seatbelt, if you don't put your mobile on the side, and you don't, grab the power steering with your both hands and stare at the road, you will be punished for that.
Yes, amazing. So, dear viewers, there's no doubt that caring for the environment in Kuwait is one of the priorities and important necessities that require everyone to work together in order to preserve it from environmental crimes and violations, whether minor or serious.
Absolutely. So let's get some tips on the most important environmental elements and their importance through the following report.
My name is Abdulazim Ma'rafi. I am from Petroleum Research Center, Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research. We are here in the pilot plant hall, which consider the heart of petroleum refinery, especially processing crude oil, which consider one of the major fossil fuel. Facility is similar to it's mimicking a commercial refinery, which we have different processes available in the facility. Most of the work is carried out 24 hours, similar to the refinery. And we are processing this. First, we distill crude into different fractions, and we end up with, for example, naphtha, kerosene, gas oil, resid. And based on the specific project, we can take those fractions and conduct experiments using the facility available. The main important target is to obtain environmentally friendly product from fossil fuel. Of course, throughout the process itself and taking samples, we are able to know the characteristic. For example, if we process diesel cut. As I said, this is all coming from a fossil fuel, namely crude oil. However, this is our main domain of this center working in fossil fuel. However, we have to mention here that there are some other alternative fossil fuels and there are some other alternative non-fossil fuels. Of course, tremendous effort being made so far in order to find means and ways in order to end up with some new technologies for fossil fuel. Our major concern globally is to reduce the emission coming from fossil fuel because of the global warming. Of course, environmentalists are watching all that. There is an extra burden on the refinery to comply with the challenges. Alternative fuels are many, including solar, wind, waves, including bio, including waste, using wood, and many things actually. And I have to indicate those are being practiced for many years. However, research are going in order to find most economic. So there is a breakthrough going to happen in the future. But I have to indicate here, with the rise of population and demand, fossil fuel will remain to control and to have an impact within the couple decades, because, as I said, there are so many factors is affecting that. However, efforts has to continue to find alternative, particular to alternative fuels. For more information, and I do suggest that similar interview has to be taken with our colleagues from Energy Building Center, which is located in the main building in Shuwaykh, and they can more highlight in some other alternative fuels. And in more details, and the opportunity to visit their lab is going to be also available. Thank you very much.
So now, dear viewers, we came back again with our first interview segment with our special guest for today. Fear and anxiety often occur together, but these terms are not interchangeable. Fear is an intense biological response to immediate danger, while anxiety is an emotional regarding things we think may happen. Anxious and frightening emotions can feel the same and be easily confused. But when comparing fear vs anxiety, there are several important differences between the two. To talk more about this important and deep topic, we are so pleased to have with us today Dr. Andy Baldwin. So hello and good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Excellent.
So it's really amazing and great topic. It's really an important that touches many people all around us.
Yes.
But before we get into the anxiety and fear, the emotional, but first we're gonna know more about yourself, Dr. Andy. Can you please introduce yourself to our dear viewers?
Well, as mentioned, firstly, good morning, Kuwait. My name is Dr. Andy. I work at Kuwait Counseling Center, and I've been here in Kuwait for, well, most of my life. I grew up in Kuwait, so it's my first home, if I may say. And I've been doing therapy for about 5 years right now, and it's my passion. It's what I love doing.
This is your passion. I'm pretty sure you saved many lives in its past 5 years, isn't it?
Helped many people, and I'm grateful for that. Yes.
That's amazing. So now let's get into anxiety first. I know a lot of people are hearing the word anxiety. I'm anxious, I'm stressed, but they don't know the exact definition of anxiety. So could you please define actually what is anxiety mean?
Definitely. In broad terms, anxiety is an umbrella term for feelings of fear, nervousness, apprehensiveness, and worry. So that's basically what anxiety is.
Okay.
And of course, there are different types of anxiety that we can talk about as well.
That's amazing. We're going to talk it right now,
Okay.
Dr. Andy.
Okay.
So as you mentioned, there's too many types of anxiety. I thought it's really one, like feeling stress, feeling like you have like a pressure. But is there any types like to define each one of them?
Oh yeah, definitely. We can start with generalized anxiety, and that's when a person, senses a fear or worry about those major domains of life, which could be work, health, or finances. Another type of anxiety is social anxiety, and that's when a person feels that sense of fear or worry, but more about how people judge them. And those situations manifest in only social settings.
Yes.
And we also have separation anxiety, which affects children in that case. And it's a normal phase of life, so starting at about 9 months after birth until the age of 10. What happens is the type of attachment bond that is between the parents and the kids is an important thing. So if there is a secure attachment bond, the kids won't grow up feeling that sense of anxiety where they would, fear that they may lose their parents, that they may pass on, or that they might get kidnapped. And about 4% of kids worldwide under the age of 12 experience that anxiety. And often, I mean, this is some of the cases that I see these days, is that kids reject to go to school. They don't want to go to school because of that separation anxiety. And they can be quite clingy at times as well.
Yeah.
Lastly, I'd like to touch on health anxiety. Health anxiety is when a person has that fear or worry that they are ill, or that they're going to get ill. But there's really, what happens is they would go to a doctor, and maybe more than one doctor, and the doctor would say, there's nothing wrong with you, everything's fine. So it's basically, the body is really loud, it's noisy.
Yes.
And sometimes we can feel a sense of discomfort in some areas. And then the person might feel, okay, I might have this chronic disease, because maybe at work they overheard that a friend of theirs has, a chronic disease.
Yes.
Or maybe that a person passed away. So that after seeing the doctor, that's just a temporary sense of reassurance. But then when they go back home, let's say, they kind of question, those thoughts start to come in. Like, did the doctor miss something? Or why did the doctor say I should come back after 6 months? So unfortunately, then they would go to Dr. Google and start searching and self-diagnose. And that's when the cycle sparks again.
Yes.
So that's also a type of anxiety, health anxiety. Yes.
Wow. I just want to tell you about the Google. Some people that just Google about their condition, and then Google said that you're going to die in 10 months because of that. And maybe you start like overthinking and fearing about that, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes. It's not recommended. Never ever Google. And because, I mean, the symptoms overlap. You could, and then I could have this, I could have that, and then it's just, this, putting more gas on the fire, and it's just the overthinking that occurs next.
But everything like starts with our mental, our brain. We are overthinking, we are imagine, especially as you mentioned about the kids, they are feared to be like their parents separated, like a divorce, or as you mentioned, kidnapped, for example. So it's all about imagination. Why do you think that like children start imagine that?
Well, it all depends firstly on the way that parents upbring their child.
Okay.
So if there's that secure attachment bond that's there from the very beginning, that can minimize that chance or likelihood of sensing that anxiety when separated from parents or caregivers.
Yes.
But in general, I would always say is that the mind is something that wants to control us. That's why it's there. But we always have that option, to control our mind. And I would recommend and suggest to everyone to not believe everything that our mind tells us, because it's not always true.
Right. Golden advice, Dr. Andy. Okay. So let's talk about symptoms of anxiety. How can I know that I'm like suffering from anxiety, for example?
Okay, well, mentally what happens is it's just excessive and intense and persistent worry and fear that happens mentally. But there are also some physical symptoms. So those general physical symptoms could be like trouble sleeping, trouble focusing, having gastrointestinal problems. But at times when people have a panic attack, that's when now other symptoms come in, like having a shortness of breath or a rapid heart rate.
Yes.
Feeling that they're a little shaky or they're sweating. So those are mostly the major symptoms, especially when people experience panic attacks.
Most of people, they are having that, especially before or after actually the pandemic coronavirus, because we are sitting at home for 2 years. And you mentioned about social affairs. Some people actually, they still fear of facing people, having introduced themselves to new friends, a new life. So what's your point about that?
Well, I see that during COVID, what happened is people got isolated and spent most of their times, even school was online.
Yes.
And that brought back, that sense of not, knowing how to physically interact with people. And so, I mean, I see kids who spend most of their time on their phone. A lot of screen time is not good.
Yes.
Or, playing PlayStation, where now they have virtual friends. So they don't want to actually go out there and make real friends.
I know.
And that's not a good thing. They got to, burst out of that bubble because they're missing out on good things, on enjoying life. So yeah, COVID did have an impact in a negative way in that aspect. And I can see that happening post-COVID. So even these days, a lot of kids are struggling with that.
Yes.
Not going out, not making, making friends, even sometimes not even wanting to go to school.
I know that, but there is a treatment for that, isn't it?
Definitely, yes.
Definitely.
Yes, yes.
And this is your work, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So is anxiety really good for us or bad for us?
Well, it can be good and bad. I mean, anxiety is a normal emotion, and it's because of our brain telling us
Yes.
It's a response to stress, telling us that there is potential danger. Even for instance, if we have a problem at work, or when we make an important decision,
Yes.
or before taking a test. But that's just, a now and then sense of anxiety. That can help us, that can push us forward, that can help us focus, it can give us that boost of energy. But when it's an anxiety disorder, it's not temporary, it's consistent, and it can be very overwhelming. And at that point, people can avoid going to work. People want to avoid getting together with family or any other social situations that might trigger those symptoms to increase. So anxiety can be a good thing and a bad thing, depending on whether if it's excessive or it's just a now and then thing. So
that's interesting, Dr. Andy. So let's talk more about fear. We talk about anxiety. So what is the definition about fear, and what is the relation between anxiety and fear?
Okay, that's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. Well, I'd like to go through a cycle to see where that fear comes from, and then where that anxiety also comes from as well. So if a person, let's say, experiences a sense of doubt, that doubt will then lead to a sense of worry.
Yes.
Now when that doubt and worry is emotionalized, we have fear. And that fear manifests in the emotional mind.
Okay.
And it needs to be expressed. So it can be expressed, of course, in one way, through our body. And when it's expressed, that fear in our body, through our body, that's when a person is under that state of anxiety.
Yes.
But fear in itself, because I've mentioned that it's in the emotional mind, they're just all false expectations appearing to be real. So, I mean, fear has no substance. I mean, you can't touch fear. You can't, smell fear. You can't, taste fear. So, but there's a difference here when I talk about danger. Now, danger is real.
Yes.
So I always use this example. If there's a burning building and it's empty, I mean, usually people are not going to go running towards it.
Exactly.
They're going to run away from it because they know that they can get hurt. They can feel it. They can probably smell the smoke. They can taste the ash. So danger is real, but fear, it's just, they're false expectations appearing to be real. It imprisons us. It stops us from enjoying life.
Yes.
And if it's not confronted but avoided, then that's when we feel anxious.
That's interesting, Dr. Andy. So do you have any last advice to our dear viewers, especially for ladies that really have too many anxiety in their life and actions?
Well, there are some interventions, of course, that can help, like cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yes.
And that's related to our thoughts and how we can basically reframe our thoughts. We get about 84,000 thoughts on average per day, maybe a little bit more or less. But scientifically proven, 95% of those thoughts are invalid. We call them ANDs, they're automatic negative thoughts. And going through a 4-step process, we can start to reframe those thoughts, which will tweak our mental fibers. Our mental fibers are these complex filters that we have in our mind.
Yes.
And then we start to see things differently, feel things differently, even think of things differently. And not only in a positive way, but in a realistic way. So it really depends on what type of anxiety the person's experiencing. If it's something that has to do with fear, that they're trying to avoid something, there's the hierarchy of exposure. And that's after I take someone's consent. And what I do is I basically put them on a hierarchy. So for example, if someone has a sense of fear or worry when going to the barber, I would say, okay, well, that's 100% of an SUD, which is a level of disturbance.
Yes.
So we can start really in increments of 20 or 10. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100.
Yes.
And we'll start low. And once that person starts to apply those steps,
Yes.
it's not about being less scared. It's about that they're learning that they can be more courageous.
That's
and
amazing.
then they start to face that fear.
Yes.
And then it trickles down and it can affect different aspects of their lives. So maybe because of overcoming that fear of going to the barber,
Yes.
now they're actually doing better at work. They're not having people step on their toes. They're speaking their mind. So it's that courage that they learn.
The courage they are learned. That's
yes,
really amazing.
yes.
Dr. Andy, too many information you gave us. Thank you for your generous information, your
You're very
golden
welcome.
advices. Actually, we ran out of time. Inshallah, in the future, we're going to have you in another episode. So thank you so much, Doctor.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Big thanks and appreciation to our dear guest, Dr. Andy Baldwin. So, dear viewers, on the 7th of April 2023, World Health Day, the World Health Organization will observe its 75th birthday in 1948. Countries of the world came together and founded WHO to promote health, keep the world safe, and serve the vulnerable and everyone. So will be everyone and everyone can be attend the highest level of health and well-being. So, dear viewers, let's watch this report about WHO and they'll be right back to you.
This is the story of health. No, it's not just about eating your vegetables and growing taller. It's about how the world's people came together to help us all live long and healthy lives, making amazing discoveries like new medicines and vaccines, guiding us to grow up healthy, strong, and happy, keeping us safe from nasty diseases, painful ones, and deadly ones, and some horrible ones you've never heard of because they were completely wiped out.
The end of smallpox, the magnificent chapter in international
This
collaboration.
long-awaited malaria vaccine is a
Each
breakthrough
African
for
region
science.
has finally been declared free of wild polio virus.
It was really a story of human perseverance, innovation, commitment, bringing communities together towards one unified goal.
This is a story about all of us because we all played a role. And if we can keep working together, we'll make more discoveries, have more victories over diseases, and help even more people be healthy and happy in the future.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Definitely, we all heard about the earthquake that hit and struck Turkey and Syria. Nama Charitable Society for Social Reform is a humanitarian institution founded by the 1977 in the state of Kuwait, and humanitarian institution founded in 1977 in the state of Kuwait and expanded in the regions and the governorates under the name of Zakat committees, with humanitarian, regional, and global organizations through a work environment that adheres the professional principles and ethical values since the beginning of the earthquake crisis that struck Turkey and Syria. It was one of the first associations to launch its charitable campaigns and was even present in the field through its team consisting of CEO Saad Merzoug Latabi, Director of the Relief Department, and Khalid Al-Shemri, documentary photographer, and Saud Al-Kandiri, an academic Dr. Mohammed Al-Kandiri. And to talk more about the role of growth in the current crisis, we are pleased to have with us today, dear viewers, your guest and my guest, Mr. Mershid Al-Rashdan, Head of the Administrative Support Sector at Nama Charitable Society for Social Reform. Good morning, Mr. Mershid, and definitely we are really honored to have you here in Good Morning Kuwait.
Honor is ours, inshallah. We are honored also.
Thank you very much. So, definitely, God bless you and the Charitable Association. Definitely, this is really amazing, and we are, I have to say this before we proceed for the question, we are really proud of you and proud of every single Kuwaiti that go and help, try to be in a help for others, especially in the need like the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. So we want to talk, Mr. Al-Rashdan, today about the extent of the damage caused by the earthquake and struck in Turkey and Syria?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here today. And as you know, we all woke up 6th of February hearing very severe news about an earthquake that happened in the southern part of Turkey, northern part of Syria. Of course, reports started to come, and we realized as the whole world that the devastation is very big and it's very huge. The rate of the earthquake was 7.8, and the Turkish official media has announced it's the biggest earthquake that happened for the last 130 years. Based on that, the government of Kuwait, thankfully, has decided immediately to support Turkey, being a friend country, and they've encouraged all organizations in Kuwait to help and to start relief efforts in order to help the Turkish people and the northern part of Syria, the Syrian people. Our team was one of the first teams that arrived there. It was after, I would say, 36 hours of the devastation. Our team was on ground. And the reports they've given us was unbelievable. They were talking about, at that time, they were talking about a size of 900 kilometers with 500 kilometers radius of the devastation. At that time, they were talking about an average of 20 million, people that lost their houses. We're not talking about the death tolls at that time.
We're talking about the casualty, the minimal casualty.
The buildings that were destroyed.
20 million.
20 million people lost their houses. And this is why even Turkey from day one announced level 4, which means any government, we need help. This is a reflection of the amount of devastation. As governments and organizations started to move and enter, they've realized that the work is very, very big, and it's beyond any capability of any government.
So we're talking about countries should
and this is what happened. And Kuwait was one of the first countries, and other countries of the GCC.
Alhamdulillah, donations. That's really made us really proud.
And as you know, Kuwait was nominated in the time and the legacy of Sheikh Sabah al-Ahmed, rahmatullah alayh. We were the center of humanitarian, the center of humanitarian activities in the world by the United Nations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once again, alhamdulillah, Kuwait was able to show that they deserved this
title.
This title.
Exactly. So, what about the virtue of relief for the afflicted? You know, what was the main, let's say, that main happiness or savior for the needed people? People in need.
At Nama, we are part of the committee of the Kuwaiti Committee of Relief, which is a foundation of several organizations in Kuwait. And as you know, even Kuwait launched almost 2 weeks ago a campaign that Kuwait is by your side. And
that was really beautiful.
And mashallah, with the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, within one day 20 million Kuwaiti dinars was donated through people and organizations.
So we're talking times 3, it's like $60 million.
And even the Turkish ambassador was very pleased with it, and she even had a press conference showing how Kuwait was always there. Alhamdulillah.
This is amazing.
At Nama ourselves, we were also helping, we were capable of delivering food. We were capable of giving support to all the not to all, but to several less fortunate families that lost everything, whether it's like food relief, clothing, etc. And each organization had a unique part to cover. So each one was specialized. In addition to that, at Nama, we were very much thinking of what should be done after the devastation and after at the recovery phase.
What would be our mission?
We've set a team, and we thought that the crisis the government is dealing, etc. But what after that? So we're focusing now on medication. We're focusing on how to help.
See the children.
Yeah.
How they on the monitor.
Yeah, mashallah.
Mashallah.
We were also thinking, okay, they will need education.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
We had mobile clinical centers where they would go from one place to another to help, like
check
healthcare. If someone broke a hand, not severe operations.
Not severe operation.
But,
but at least the paramedics.
Exactly.
Or first aid. Yeah.
We had 6 of those moving from one place to another. In coordination with other organizations.
That's really very noble, Mr. Rashdan. Honestly, this is something we are, and each single Kuwaiti should be proud of what you guys doing. So what is the role of Na'ma Charity in this crisis? Like, for example, did the Kuwaiti government set roles for the charity organizations such as Na'ma, or it's only like from within the Na'ma charity organization, it was you guys planned your role?
Okay, it's a very good question. Any activity done outside of Kuwait, all organizations in Kuwait, Na'ma and others, everything should be organized and arranged with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Social Work.
Okay, so good. This is with the consent of the Foreign Affairs.
Exactly. And every project done, whether it's a 200 KD dinar project or
amazing.
It has to be done
under the supervision of the Foreign Affairs.
The Foreign Affairs.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
This is also, this is a strength for the projects itself, where donators and organizations know that everything is done according to the book. Wallah alhamd. Now, the government of Kuwait has initiated and said Turkey needs help. So most of the organizations done that in response to the call of the government, and in another way because they felt that this is the role of them to do.
Exactly.
So we organized with we had several meetings with other organizations to split the parts, and each organization, what should they cover in order to be very
effective.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what done. So we at Na'ma we decided to be in the southern part of Turkey, while other organizations were
in the north. So this leads us to the question: the role of the Foreign Affairs Ministry and the Ministry of Social Affairs in achieving the goals of charitable campaigns. So this is where the ministries of the government of Kuwait, they come and they say to Na'ma, please go to the south
and arrange
this such and such, and the other organization, you go to the north, you go to the northeast.
It's organized between.
This is
plus I would like to take this opportunity and thank the Kuwaiti Air Force. They were the captains over there, and
really,
yes, they
were there.
The government, all the support and all the relief efforts were transported by the Air Force of Kuwait,
MashaAllah,
the Ministry of Defense, and the captains over there. There was an air bridge going, coming, and this is how we were able to deliver and to do this. Without the helps of them and the blessings, we wouldn't be able to do this. And this is a thumbs up for them, to be honest, and we thank them.
Definitely, we salute them.
Exactly.
Definitely the armed forces. Definitely Kuwaiti Armed Forces, definitely, for all this. And this is not a new cause. I've seen how they reacted in the pandemic and in Corona.
In addition to that, the firemen of Kuwait,
there was a fire force also.
Fire force was helping there. They were taking the rubbles out. They were look, in Kuwait, mashallah, it's in the DNA.
Exactly.
It's part of the Kuwaiti.
All united and to help the needy. This is really humanitarian. Alhamdulillah. This is the nature of our country. This is the nature of our rulers. This is the nature of our people. Such as people like you, leaving your family and going into the hazards in Turkey. Definitely, you have kids, you have children, you have loved ones. They always think our father is there, and you know what I mean. This is definitely Mr. Rashdan all appreciated, and it will not be forgotten, neither by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Definitely, this is in your credit. So let's just quick question about the university student project. We want to know about the project and its achievement. In a quick.
One of our major projects, you see, we work 30% of our activities are outside of Kuwait, 70% is inside Kuwait. And one of our major projects is supporting families that have their children studying at the level of university degree after high school.
After high school, that's nice.
And this was
those families, they can't provide for.
They can't provide. We have three. And this is funded by الأمانة العامة للأوقاف. Okay, and the criteria in order for people to be eligible to get this support, we have three main regulations. Number one, he has to be living. If he's Kuwaiti, of course he's Kuwaiti. If he's an expatriate, he has to have a residency in Kuwait.
Nice.
The student has to have a GPA of 2.0. And he has to have 1 year of, he should be studying 1 year.
1 year, so then he can transfer.
Exactly.
Mr. Rashdan, thank you very much, and it was really an honor, we appreciate all your deeds, and it will be counted within, the judgment day, as they say. Thank you very much.
The honor is ours, and thank you for having us here, and we'll meet again, inshallah.
Absolutely. Dear viewers, we'll go for a break. After that, we'll be back for the wrap-up.